I'm the chaplain of Dallin Catholic High School, the assistant vocations director for the Diocese of Des Moines, and I guess for today, sort of the delegate of Bishop Johnson, who is traveling right now.
Gotcha. Is it okay if I call you Reed?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Perfect.
No worries,
So,
brother. Yeah.
so Reed, first of all, I just kind of want to start. Obviously, it's a day that a lot of people expected at some point soon. When you found out the news of Pope Francis passing away, I mean, what were your thoughts?
Right. So when I woke up and I turned over in my bed this morning and saw the notification, I first initially felt a heaviness, right? Obviously, from the loss of any loved one that you would experience, right? You feel the heaviness. But immediately I remembered, okay, this is the day after Easter. He passed away Easter evening, and then that was commingled with joy as well too, thinking of then all of the memories flooded back of this man, of this Holy Father. So it was a mixture kind of the joy and the sadness when I first found out this morning.
You know, not many people, though, can say that they've met the Pope even one time.
Right.
And very few people can say they've met him twice.
That's
so
right.
Tell me about your experience.
It was wild. So I got to meet our Holy Father, Pope Francis, first as a seminarian during the ad limina visits. Every 5 years, the bishops, they go and they meet the Holy Father. We were blessed. Our bishop, Bishop Johnson, he invited us to go meet him and to shake hands with him. And I remember just in that interaction with him, he wasn't just like a holy grandfather, he was a Holy Father. He had still the same life, vitality, and joy of a young man. And he was cracking jokes with us, he was having a lot of fun. And for me, that was a profound reminder that this man's joy, it actually had a kind of power to it. And no matter what we were feeling that day, it was instantly driven out by this man's charism for joy.
Was there something that surprised you the most when you met him? I think a lot of people would be thinking when you meet a Pope, it's going to be just like this incredible, and obviously it was incredible, but just an experience that maybe more different than maybe even what you saw.
Yes, I was surprised by Pope Francis's candor and his ability to relate to us on a pretty informal level. I mean, here is the Holy Father, much to be expected for pomp and circumstance. You're here in the papal palace, and yet here he is, just jiving with the guys, hanging out, making jokes. And one of my friends in particular, he walks in and he's a young-looking guy, and Pope Francis looks at him and he goes, "What, are you here for your first communion or something? What are you doing?" And everyone's like cracking up and laughing. So I was struck by, you know, he is, like we profess as Catholics, right? He's the vicar of Christ on earth, right? The successor to Peter, and here he is just like ripping jokes with us. So for me, that stuck out the most, dude. That this joy and God's joy was not inaccessible. It was right there.
That's something that's incredible to me, to think about the Pope just picking on one of my buddies.
Bro, man. Yeah, and that's what he does.
Yes.
It's crazy, man.
You know, just to get to see that side of him. Is that something for you in your role? Is that one of those things you tell people all the time?
So, you know, in my role, I think when we think of, perhaps even today, like when we think of God, or maybe when we think of the church, perhaps there's this barrier, right, that we can erect and put, oh, there's no way that I can access him or access this institution. But I think through the witness that we saw of Pope Francis was this love, and this divine love, it's very accessible, and in fact, it's very near. That is what I try to integrate into my ministry at the high school at Dallin Catholic, to show people that love and divine love, it's not this far away thing up in the clouds, but it's here and now among us, and to rejoice in that.
And you talk about your ministry. When you find out that something like this has happened, how does that impact what you do on a daily basis?
Yes, so we're going to expect these next couple weeks to have a series of prayers for our Holy Father, Pope Francis. We will have prayers over the daily announcements at Dallin Catholic High School, where I'm the chaplain. We'll have masses that we celebrate. It's religious services that we offer for the Pope as well. And then in the next 2 weeks, when looking forward to it, you know, please God, and the election of a new Pope, we'll be offering prayers for him as well. So a lot of prayer in these next couple weeks, obviously praying for Pope Francis, but also he was a holy guy. We want to ask for Pope Francis's prayers for us as well too. And if he's up there with the Lord right now, we ask that, he will intercede and help us draw closer to the Lord too.
And you said that all of this has something to do with the canonization process ultimately, right?
That's right. Hey, we never know.
Yeah.
We never know. We always pray that all persons, right, will become saints, that they'll be united to God. A saint is someone who has become just the best version of themselves, okay, to think of it that way. And we pray that Pope Francis is experiencing that. So, yes, just like with St. John Paul II, a couple popes ago, who people ask for his intercession and miracles, right, begin to happen. Yeah, if you're struggling with something, ask for the intercession of Pope Francis and see what happens. As a church, we would love to see that canonization process begin, but one day at a time.
Yeah. Now, for people who don't know, because this is something that comes about anytime we elect a new pope, what does the election process look like?
Indeed, yes. So it's a little different from the movie Conclave. I'm going to tell you that right now. Essentially, what happens is all of the electing cardinals on earth who are able to make it, they all meet in the Sistine Chapel, and they meet in a conclave, which is Latin for conclavus, like under the lock of key in the Sistine Chapel. They convene, they discuss, they pray, okay, Lord, who are you calling us to elect? And amongst that group, they select amongst themselves a successor to Peter, and there's a series of elections. What's called for is a majority vote. Okay, so if we haven't reached that majority, then we call it again, and we simply keep going. And every day that there is not a pope elected, we will burn black smoke in the Vatican to symbolize that we're still mourning as a church. But the day that the new pope is elected, whoever that may be, God be with them, we will burn white smoke to symbolize that the new pope is here. He will come out, give an address in St. Peter's Square to obviously the Vatican, but more importantly to the entire world. And we look forward to that, see what happens.
Obviously, it's a bittersweet moment for the Catholic Church, but is that such an exciting, maybe even invigorating moment when you're getting ready to welcome a new pope?
I think so. And because us as humans, we're not just, it's not just the sugary grape juice, right? Nor is it the vinegar at all times. We profess in the wine, right? It's beautiful and strong, but also it's sweet as well. I think for us as Catholics, we look forward to, call it, drinking that new wine, okay? As we elect this new pope, it is bittersweet, but it is also beautiful. And I think in the season of Easter, we recall that death is not the end, okay? But rather life is this new beginning. And we have joy in the resurrection, and we look forward to that time when the new pope's elected, man.
And I'm glad that you said that. Is that something that kind of set in on you really quickly to think about when Pope Francis passed away, especially coming off of Easter, happening on Easter Monday? Is that something that, you just kind of look at and maybe even think of with a little bit of awe?
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we look at that and we see, here he is, our Holy Father passing away on, Easter Sunday, and then even Pope St. John Paul II, who passed away on Divine Mercy Sunday, which was the week after Easter. You look at this and you got to think, okay, there's something out there, man. Yeah. Okay, there's something out there. And as a priest, I'll tell you, there is something out there, and it's real. Okay, the spiritual stuff is real, and it's beautiful. So, yeah, I look at that in awe, and I think, wow, God, what a world we live in.
I want to go back to just the prayer process. So I know that you said that you're going to pray with your students there at Dowling. What exactly is that going to look like when you go over that intercom and you pray with those students? What does that look like?
Yes. Well, the church prescribes a series of prayers that we can offer, but more so I think it's a consolation for our students, right? In the springtime and new life, all of a sudden here's a heavy word that we're going to receive. Okay, our Holy Father has passed. So there will be prayers of consolation, but also as well prayers of guidance that we as a church can come together, that we can experience the consolation that God offers, but also that He can direct us forward. That's what some of the prayers will entail. We also have Mass every day at our high school, so we're going to offer up the Mass of the day tomorrow for Pope Francis. And lastly, too, there's a tradition in the church where we sing the Dies Irae, right, particularly on the death of someone who we love. So our student choir will be singing the Dies Irae at our high school, which is beautiful. And that's Latin for the day of wrath. Okay, but it's more so invoking God's mercy, which he wishes to bring whenever we experience loss.
Yeah. What do you hope that those students that they take away from this entire experience? Because, you know, these kids, they've never seen this happen.
Mm-hmm. It's my prayer that my students, but obviously all the youth throughout the world, will see that even though there is sorrow and heaviness, which we experience at the passing of someone who we love, even more so, there is light, there is beauty, and there is hope. And it's rather fitting that Pope Francis called this Jubilee year, which we're living in, it only happens every 25 years, he called this the year of hope. And he has inaugurated this year of hope and really stamped it by his life and his death. So he has given everything over to this message of hope for the world, and it is that message which I wish to communicate to my students, but also to all the youth, is that the suffering of the present time is not worthy to be compared to the glory that will be revealed in us. That's from St. Paul. So go out there.
I love it. I love it. Reed, is there anything else you'd like to mention that we haven't covered?
I think I would just like to thank Pope Francis for his witness, not just to the Catholic Church, but yes, in showing how we can better embrace those persons on the peripheries, maybe who haven't experienced or don't feel like they're worthy of experiencing God's love. I want to thank him, and maybe I think as a world we thank him for his bold witness to reach out to persons of different faiths, right, different backgrounds, different creeds, and to show that you're loved, and that is what is most important.